I think both of you use a lot of really precise details in your music, and that's something I think of with Half Man Half Biscuit. But Paul, thinking about your songs that mention some of these other bands like LA Guns, the Pigeon Detectives, not names to conjure with, names I'd forgotten existed until I heard them in your music. Do you think that precision is kind of important for comedy? What draws you to those kinds of references?
I don't know, really. I think a lot of it could just be like what I'm sort of thinking about at the time kind of thing. Well, I don't know, I guess I couldn't really, I maybe should have thought about this one. Why do I pinpoint such things? I don't know, maybe it's because, I don't know, again, I'm maybe a bit older. And that's sort of like, when I thought of these, like the Pigeon Detective thing, I was probably thinking of a specific event that irked me or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just kind of like do focus on stuff that like, in general, I'll be like, this is the band who you would think of, but I, being so clever, have heard of this other band that no one would really think of in this situation. I don't know.
But it's getting the laughs, isn't it, by going to that sort of unexpected reference. And yeah, maybe not everyone in the room recognizes everything that you kind of throw in, but it's that sense of like, you can try to be funny by being as broad as possible and kind of aiming for this sort of imagined kind of neutral listener. But actually most people are going to find it funnier to just hear that little thing that kind of tweaks something that they thought no one else remembered.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I don't know. I think it's... Sorry, I've lost my train of thought.
That's all right. Well, I think we'll come back to you with some of the others. But Nicky, that idea of kind of precision, how does that kind of come across in your work?
Can you give me an example that I've done? It's like,
well, I mean, sometimes it's about the precision of the word, isn't it? Like, in the Aubergine song, any of your songs where you're kind of setting up a sort of complex rhyme, is that part of the process for you, is thinking that's going to really hit them?
So I'd never really thought about my songs in an analytical way until quite like a few months ago when my old uni, well, it was a college when I went there, had like a writers' festival, and they asked if I'd do like a workshop on lyric writing, and I thought, I could do it on like playful lyric writing and rhyming. You may have noticed I like to pop a few rhymes in there now and again. And so I was looking at stuff, and I'd played a gig, I think just while I was preparing the workshop, and I was going to talk a lot about avoiding the unexpected, and like, because obviously there's a lot of songs out there. There's a lot of rhymes, particularly where, you kind of know what's coming. So, for example, Maybe Baby, there's a few that happens in a few songs. And I looked at the statistics about what were the most common rhymes and this and that. And I like to, I mean, not that I'm trying to be clever, but I like to have fun, to like play with language, and I like to, make myself laugh. And I'm not going to make myself laugh with rhymes like Maybe Baby, like maybe Baby Gravy, Baby Martin Scorsese, stuff like that. And immediately it's just different, isn't it? It's not what someone's expecting. So I guess, that preciseness can be like interesting because somebody's not expecting it. And at this gig that I did in January, I was just kind of preparing this workshop and talking about, hitting people with an unexpected rhyme, and then somebody at the gig said, I really enjoyed your songs. I love the way you never know what the rhyme is that's coming up. And I was like, I feel qualified now to give this workshop and say, and again, like looking at, kind of perfect rhymes that match exactly, and then like, so even the terminology imperfect rhyme suggests that it's not as good to use imperfect rhymes, but like, but people know, like when I talk about perfect, this is as technical as I get, by the way, but yeah, so rhymes that don't, that all the sounds aren't exactly the same. So like Baby and Martin Scorsese, it kind of, it's close, but it's no cigar. So, and then, so as soon as you kind of start looking at widen it to imperfect what rhymes, you've got so much more choice. And but I think imperfect rhymes are pretty common now in songwriting. Everybody's relaxed a little bit,